or response option for pipeline operator enforcement proceedings. Provision Title 49 CFR Part 190 Subpart B 19201 and 243 govern the response option for the enforcement proceeding with the initiative of the Regional Director Pipeline Hazard Material Safety Administration. Specifically, 19208 provides your response options upon the receipt of the enforcement note that is provided with the consult of the Subpart B with the further information regarding the rights and responsibility with the proceeding. Be advised that all material submitted with the response of enforcement action subject to any of the publicly available to believe that any of the portion responsible of the material qualifies in confidential treatment under Title 5 U.S. Standard Code 552B with along with the complete and original documentation provided. A second copy of the documentation portion that you believe to qualify with the confidential treatment eradicated an explanation for the why you believe the eradicated information qualified with the confidential treatment under Title 5 U.S. Standard Code 552B. Procedure for responding with a notice of probable violation. Within 30 days of the receipt of the notice of the probable violation, the respondent must respond directly with the regional director who issued the notice of the following way. When the notice contains or provides proposed civil penalty, you have four options. You may decide not to contest the allegation. If you're not contesting any violation alleged with the notice paid for the proposed civil penalty according to the details outlined in paragraph 9 below, with the regional director of the paying with the writing of this authorizes PHSA to issue an order making findings of the violation, and upon confirmation of the payment it has received, the PHMSA will close the case subject to the outstanding compliance order. Payment terms are outlined below. 2. You may decide not to contest the allegation to provide an explanation relevant to the proposed penalty. If you're not contesting any violation alleged with the notice, but wish to submit the written explanation, information of the materials below, warrant and mitigation of the civil penalty, including qualification as a small business, Section 7, and in the document you may submit such materials. If submitting written explanation regarding the effect of the proposed civil penalty with the ability to continue with the business and include accurate, reliable information on your financial condition in which agents cannot consider your claim, this authorizes PHMSA to make findings to issue a final order. PHMSA will consider the submission of the citizen, deciding whether or not to reduce or eliminate the penalty amount proposed by the notice. Refer to Title 49, 190, 221, 225 for the information concerning the maximum civil penalties. Maximum penalties and assessment consideration upon civil penalties are based. 3. You may decide whether to contest the allegations in writing and elect not to have the hearing. If you contest one or more of the items in the notice but are not requesting an oral hearing, submit in written process with the allegation or seek elimination or mitigation of the proposed civil penalty. Or 4. You decide to contest the allegation and ask for a hearing. Request a hearing prescribed in the paragraph 3 below to contest the allegation proposed assessment of civil penalty. Refer to 192.11 additional information concerning hearing. B. When notice contains proposed compliance order, you have four options. You may decide whether not to contest the allegation. You have the non-contesting proposed compliance order with the alleged violation associated with which not notify the regional director that you intend to take action proposed compliance order. 2. You may decide not to contest the allegation but provide an explanation relevant to the proposed compliance order. If you're not contesting a violation alleged in the notice but wish to submit written explanation information for the other materials you believe of the warrant modification proposed compliance order in or whole in part with you seek clarification on the terms of the proposed compliance order, you may submit such material with the authorized PHMSA to make the findings to issue compliance order. 3. You may have to decide with the contest in the allegations in writing or elect not to have the hearing. If you contest one more of the violation alleged with the notice that he of the proposed compliance order but not requesting oral hearing, submit written explanation information of the materials and answering the alleged allegation from the notice and stating your reason for objecting to the proposed compliance order in whole or in part. Or 4. You decide to contest the allegation and ask for a hearing. Request for a hearing described in paragraph 3 below. The content of the allegation proposed compliance order items refer to 192.11 for additional information concerning hearings, and that's in CFR 49. C. When notice contains a warning item, no written response is required. A junction is not conducted for a warning items. Warning notifiers and of an operator probable violation advise the operator to correct it or be subject to potential enforcement action in the future. You must respond in one of the ways listed above within 30 days. In your response, you must also request for the meeting of the regional director for clarification of the issue to discover the potential use of the consistent of a consent agreement. Failure to respond with a notice under paragraph A and B with appropriate within 30 days of the receipt of the constituted waiver of the right to contest the allegation notice and authorize associated administrator with pipeline safety to find facts of the alleged in notice without further notice of the respondent to issue final order. 2. Procedure response to the notice of the amendment. Within 30 days receipt of the notice of the amendment, the respondent shall respond with the regional director who has issued the notice of the following way. A. If not contesting the notice, if notified with the regional director of your plan to address the inadequacy identified with the notice, or submit copies of the amended procedures. B. If you do not contest the notice but wish to submit written explanation, information from the other materials believed the warrant modification of the notice of the amendment in whole or in part, or seek the clarification term of the notice of the amendment, you may submit the such material. This authorizes the PHMSA to make findings and issue an order directing amendment. If you are contesting a notice of the amendment but not requesting an oral hearing, submit the written explanation, information of the materials, and answer for the allegation of the notice stating your reasons for the objection to the notice of the amendment, items in whole or in part, or do you request a hearing as described below with the contest of the allegation into the notice? Failure to respond with a response and notice within 30 days of the receipt constitute a waiver of the right to contest the allegation from the notice and authorizes Associated Administrator of the Pipeline to find facts of the alleged notice without further notice of the respondent to issue final order. Alright, 3. Procedure for the requesting hearing. The requesting hearing must be in writing and accompanied with a statement of the issue for the respondent, the intent of the raise at the hearing. The issue may relate with the regulatory requirement of factual basis for the allegation of the proposed compliance order or to propose civil penalty amount. Further, Title 49, 192.25 of the Assessment Consideration found that civil penalties are paid for the respondent failure to specify whether the issue may result with a waiver of the right to raise that issue at the hearing of the respondent may request the hearing of the final order to be an issue with the expedited basis of the respondent. Request may also indicate whether or not the respondent will be represented by the counsel at the hearing. Failure to request a hearing when writing within 30 days of the receipt of the notice waive the right of hearing. In addition, if the amount of the proposed civil penalty of the proposed corrective action is less than $25,000, the hearing will be held by a telephone unless respondent submits a written request for an in-person hearing. Complete hearing procedure can be found in Title 49 CFR 192.11. Extension time to prepare the appropriate response with the notice be granted with agency the discretion following submitted with a written request of the regional director with the request to indicate the amount of the time needed with the reason for the extension. Request must be submitted within 30 days of the receipt of the notice. Case file that is available with the respondent. All enforcement and proceedings refer to Title 49 192.09 for contents of the case file document, and the case file will be provided upon the request. If the notice contains proposed civil penalty, respondent may additionally request a copy of the proposed civil penalty worksheet. 6. Freedom of Information Act. When you submit the information to the PHMSA, we may make the information publicly available unless you ask for the keep of the information confidential. You may ask us for the give of the confidential treatment of the information you give of the agency that may be taken the following step. With the mark of the confidential on each page of the original document you would like to keep confidential. Send us along with the original document and second copy of the original document with the confidential commercial information deleted. Explain with the why of the information you're submitting into the confidential commercial information. PHMSA will retrieve the confidential information that you submitted within accordance with the above the paragraph unless you notify you otherwise. PHMSA disguises the code of the information. PHMSA review the request to protect the confidential commercial information under the criteria set forth in Freedom of Information Act, Title 5 U.S. Code 552A. Or 552, this one, including the following consultation procedure set out with the Department of Freedom of Information Act regulation, Title 49 CFR 7229. PHMS decides to go over the both and the information over objection. We will notify you in writing at least 5 business days before the intended disclosure date. 7. The rights of small entity, the enforcement fairness of the policy against retaliation. The Department of Transport has policy regarding the rights of small entity, the regulatory enforcement fairness of the explicit the policy begins with the retaliation for the exercise of these rights. The objective to ensure the fair regulatory enforcement environment. The U.S. Small Business Administration provides standards for the Small Business Classification, Pipeline Transportation, North American Industry Classification System codes. Small Business Administration size standard identified with the North American Industry Classification Code can be found in Title 13 CFR 121.201. If you meet the Small Business Administration size standard that would like to PMHSA consider the enforcement action plea with the response of the relevant information you wish to be considered under appropriate circumstances, potential penalty reduction with a waiver may be considered by the PHMSA. Title 13, Part 121 has information about small business eligibility provision standard that if you feel you have been treated unfairly, unprofessionally, you may contact with the PHMSA Office of the Chief Counsel. If you are a small business, you also have the right to contact with the Small Business Administration National Ombudsman 1888 Reg Fair or Small Business Government Small Business Administration Ombudsman comments regarding the fairness of the complying with the enforcement activities of the agency. The Department of Transportation strictly forbids the retaliatory acts by its employees. As such, you shall feel confident that you will not be penalized for expressing your concerns about compliance enforcement activities. 8. Small Business Regulatory Enforcement Fairness Action Information. Small Business Agricultural Regulatory Enforcement Act Ombudsman. 10. Regional Fairness Boards were established to receive comments from small business about federal agency enforcement actions. The Ombudsman will annually evaluate enforcement activities, rate each agency responsible to the small business. If you wish to comment with the enforcement action with the Pipeline Hazard Material Safety Administration, call 188-REG-FAIR or go to Small Business Gov Ombudsman Comments. All right, 9. Payment instructions. Civil penalty payment less than $10,000. Payment of civil penalty less than $10,000 proposed assessment under Title 49 CFR Part 190 Subpart B of the Pipeline Safety Regulation can be made certified check for the money ordered with the wire transfer. Payment may be certified check for the money order containing the CPF number of the first cave, the which should be made available to the Department of Transportation. Should be sent to the PHMSC ESC 6500 South MacArthur Boulevard, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. 731 69 69 18 Headquarter Building, Room 181, AMK 326. Wire transfer payments less than $10,000 may be made for the Federal Reserve Communication System. FedWire with an account with the U.S. Treasury. Detail the instruction provided below. Questions concerning the wire transfer should be directed to the General Accounting Division, 405-954-9309. Email at 9-AMC-AMZs-ARPHMSA@FAA.gov. Civil penalty payments of $10,000 or more. Payment of civil penalty $10,000 or more proposed SS under the Subpart B of the 190 Pipeline Safety Regulations must be made in wire transfer Title 49 CFR 8921B3 for the Federal Reserve Communication System. FedWire 2. Count the U.S. Treasury detailed instruction provided below. The question concerning the wire transfer should be directed with the General Accounting Division at 405-954-9309. Email 9-AMC-AMZ-ARPHMSA-FAA.gov. Or instruction electronic funded transfer of the Pipeline Hazard Material Safety Administration bank name, Treasury and New York City Fund transfer to Division Liberty 33 Liberty Street, New York 10145. The ABABIC Swift routing number, ABL ALBIBAC accounting number, reason for the payment of PMH, shipment's payment, case and ticket fee, payment amount and payment amount due, type of the subtype. Provided sending bank name, sending bank reference number, product code, sending bank ARB number. Instructions: use your send for the wire transfer provided with the sending of the bank the information from and above. The information provided is constant will remain same for all of the wire transfer. The Pipeline Hazard Material Safety Administration. Block 1, receive the name of the Treasury of New York City. Ensure for the sending bank. Enter for the abbreviation must be for the all wire transfer to the Treasury Department. Block 2, receive the ABA number to 0210304. Ensure for the sending bank. Enter for the 9-digit identification number to represent for the routing symbol of the U.S. Treasury and Federal Reserve Bank of the New York Treasury City. Block 3, beneficial agency location code 691-14001. Ensure for the sending of the bank. Enter for the information agency location code of the Pipeline Hazard Material Safety Administration. Block 4, reason for the payment in lieu of the check with the ensure for the wire transfer for the credit properly. Enter for the appropriate bill for the case, ticket, fee for the travel number, and PHSA implementing relating to payment. Block 4 or 5 of the amount you must send for the provided for the amount to be transferred to be sure that transfer amount is punctuated, comma, the decimal point, with example of $10,000 and 0 cents. As a wire transfer must comply with the format instructed for the department cannot accept the wire transfer. You or the sender can assist the process of notifying at the time you send the wire transfer to the General Accounting Division, 405-954-9309. Email 9-AMC-AMZ-ARPHMSA@FAA.gov. And those were your response options to pipeline operator enforcement proceedings. Testing.